for those of you out there who can't ever seem to reach a high credit score, such as an 800 plus credit score or even past a 700 credit score, then I got you. In this video, we're going to be going over 5 things that you might be doing that is causing your credit score to drop without even knowing. And then I'll also be showing you guys some ways on how you can improve your credit score as well. If you're already subscribed, then welcome back. But if you guys are new to my channel, my name is Ismael Sandiford and you are now watching Just Money, where we talk about financial related topics such as personal and business, credit, real estate, and other financial related topics. So if that's something you're into, then you're probably going to want to consider subscribing. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. Okay, now let's start with the most common reason that brings your credit score down from a 700 credit score down to a 600 credit score. The most common reason is for sure going to be credit utilization, and let me give you a quick example of that. Let's say you have a credit card with a credit limit of $1,000 and then you go out and buy a $900 item on that credit card, like an iPhone or something. When your new balance gets reported to the credit bureaus, your utilization is going to be at 90% because you're using 90% of your overall credit limit. And this is going to drop your credit score significantly by potentially 100 points. So if you ever catch yourself in this scenario, then all you have to do is just pay it off, or at least pay $600 of it off. Because if you at least pay $600, then this is going to bring your credit utilization ratio down to 30%. And you basically want to only carry a balance of about 30% or less. So if you have an overall credit limit of about $1,000, then 30% of that $1,000 is going to be $300. I personally prefer not to carry a balance, but if you must carry a balance, then 30% is okay. But if you really want to increase your credit score, then staying under 10% is best. So this pretty much means carrying a balance of $100 or less if you have a $1,000 overall credit limit. People with the highest credit scores usually tend to have a low credit utilization ratio, like in the single digits, under 10%. So this means you would only carry a $100 balance or no balance at all if you have a credit limit of $1,000. And I know some of you guys might be thinking, well, if I had the money to pay off my credit card, then I would have paid it already. So something else you can actually do if you don't have the money to pay off your credit card is get added as an authorized user on somebody else's credit card. Just make sure that the person who is adding you as an authorized user has a high limit on that credit card, no credit debt, and on-time payment history. And also be sure to call the credit card company and make sure that the credit card company reports to all 3 major credit bureaus. Another thing you can do though, if the authorized user method is not currently an option for you, is get a credit limit increase. But you only want to do this on credit cards that do not offer a hard pull on your credit for credit limit increases. And a quick example of credit issuers that do not do a hard pull on your credit for a credit limit increase is going to be Capital One, Chase Bank, American Express, and even Navy Federal credit cards. I actually made a video not too long ago on how to get a credit limit increase with Chase Bank while it only resulting in a soft pull. So if you guys want more information in regards to that, then feel free to browse my YouTube channel or hit the link in the description below. But by getting a credit limit increase, this is going to bring your credit utilization down because you're increasing your overall credit limit, which will then in turn boost your credit score. Now, obviously, if you have a low credit score, then it might be kind of hard for you to get a credit limit increase. One thing I do want to point out though is that some banks and credit unions use an internal scoring system rather than just relying on your FICO score to approve you for a credit limit increase. Some things you can do though to improve your odds of getting a credit limit increase is to update your income on your credit profile. Having a higher income since you first applied will help you get approved for a credit limit increase. Also, having a good relationship with the bank that holds your credit card is going to help you as well. And a perfect example of this is going to be credit unions. I personally bank with Navy Federal Credit Union, and I love it because credit unions are much more lenient than banks are. But since credit unions have an internal credit score system, then it's much easier to get approved for a credit limit increase with them, even if you do have bad credit. And if you guys want to know more about credit unions, then I do talk about them quite a bit on my channel, so feel free to browse my YouTube channel or hit the link in the description below. And also, if you guys are finding any of this information helpful, if you guys could do me a favor and hit the like button, I would truly appreciate it because it really helps me out a lot, and then it's also a good way to support the channel. And also really quick, for those that don't know, I do offer one-on-one consultations if you ever want to go over a case scenario with me personally, so that way we can get you on track with your financial goals. The link will always be in the description below. But anyways, moving on to the second reason now that would lower your credit score. Okay, so another thing that would definitely ruin your credit score is going to be late payments. Making late payments is definitely the worst thing you can do that is going to drop your credit score. A payment is considered late when it's 30 days past the due date, and if this happens, this is going to get reported to the credit bureaus. And also let me mention that the later the payment, then the worse it gets. It can go from being 30 days late to 60 days late to 90 days late and so on. And payment history is going to make up about 35% of your overall credit score. Now, some things you can do to avoid making late payments is to set up payment reminders on your phone. You can set up auto pay directly with the credit card company, or another thing you can do is just simply make your payment before the actual due date. But another thing you can do is actually call your credit card company and then just switch the payment due date. The credit card company will change your payment due date to a better due date rate that would better fit your needs. And also another thing that I do want to mention that you can do is some credit card companies out there have something called a courtesy payment option. And what this pretty much does is it allows you to skip a payment and it will not report late. So just check with your credit card company to see if this is an option for you. You can also do this with car loans as well. So if you have a car and you think you might not be able to make a payment on it this month, then call the company and ask for a courtesy extension. But honestly, the best way to use a credit card is to just think of them as a debit card. Only use the card if you have money in the bank to pay it back in full at the end of the month. Credit cards can be a good thing if you use them correctly. Like for me personally, I like using credit cards because I get way more benefits out of them if I were to use a debit card. And some of these benefits are going to be things like reward points, cash back, airport lounge access, fraud protection, and stuff of that nature. Anyways, moving on to reason number 3 now of things that can lower your credit score. The third reason is going to be not having a credit mix. Credit mix is going to make up about 10% of your overall credit score. So having both revolving credit and installment credit, this is going to make you have a good credit score. And the reason for this being is because this demonstrates your ability to handle different types of debt. So the perfect blend of a credit mix is going to include both installment credit and revolving credit on your credit profile. Revolving credit is going to be your credit cards, and installment credit is going to be your installment loans, so where you have a fixed monthly payment every month, such as an auto loan, mortgage, student loan, and stuff of that nature. So if you guys don't have any installment loans, then I recommend getting a savings secured loan. And this is something really popular that a lot of people who bank with Navy Federal tend to get. They call it a pledge loan, and by getting this is pretty much a cheat code to boost your credit. If you guys want more information in regards to this pledge loan, then just feel free to browse my YouTube channel or hit the link in the description below. But anyways, moving on to the fourth reason now that can lower your credit score. The fourth reason is going to be applying for too many credit cards. Applying for too many credit cards at once makes you look like a risky borrower. And not only that, but every time you apply for a credit card, you get something called an inquiry on your credit report, also known as a hard pull. And these inquiries are going to stay on your credit report for 2 years, so the more inquiries you got, then the lower your credit score is going to go down. Some credit card companies out there won't even approve you if you have too many hard inquiries on your credit profile. So applying for the right credit card is very important. And another thing I do want to mention is applying for a credit card and not getting approved is also another bad thing on your credit report. Lenders can literally see that you applied for a credit card and that you did not get approved. And how they see this is because the company that pulled your credit, they didn't report the new trade line. This is why it's very important to have a plan and use a strategy on how to apply for credit cards in a sequence. A quick example would be some banks will only approve you for a second credit card if you wait 3 months before applying for your next credit card. So that's why it's very important to know which credit cards to apply for first in order to avoid getting too many hard pulls or denials. But anyways, moving on to the fifth reason now of things that can lower your credit score. The fifth thing that can lower your credit score is closing a credit card. Closing a credit card could definitely hurt your credit score in a few different ways. The first way is if it's an old credit card, meaning you've had it for years and you just now decided you wanted to close it, this is going to mean you are now closing your long history that you built up over the years. And 15% of your credit score is made out of the length of your credit history. But another way closing a credit card can affect your credit score is by lowering your credit utilization ratio. If you currently have debt on a different credit card and you decided to close a particular credit card, this is going to lower your overall credit limit. And if this happens, this is going to make your credit utilization ratio go up, which will then in turn lower your credit score. Because again, 30% of your credit comes from amount owed, aka your credit utilization ratio. So again, if you have more debt than what you have credit, then your credit score will go down. Now don't get me wrong, I know there's definitely some case scenarios out there to where it does make sense to close your account. And a few reasons might be maybe you just don't use the account no more, or maybe you're just tired of paying such a high annual fee every year, so I get it. Honestly, everybody's case scenario is always going to be different, but if you guys need help with your credit journey, then again, I do offer one-on-one consultations. The link will always be in the description below. But that's gonna wrap it up for today's video, guys. I hope you guys found value in any of this information. Let me know in the comments below, how did you start building credit? I would like to know. But if you guys made it to the end of the video, we are at 34,341 subscribers at the time of this recording, so I do appreciate all who watch. I do post weekly videos for those that don't know, and if you guys haven't yet already, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't yet already, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that way you guys get notified every time I post a new video. And again, we talk about personal and business credit, real estate, and other financial related topics, so if that's something you're into, then you're probably going to want to consider subscribing. We talk about how to get high limits on your guys' credit cards, we talk about how to boost your personal credit, how to obtain business credit, we talk about real estate, we talk about mortgage loan programs, we talk about all that, so this is your one-stop shop. And for those that don't know, I'm a licensed real estate agent, a realtor, and I'm also a licensed mortgage loan originator as well, so if you guys have any questions or concerns in regards to real estate, all my information will always be in the description below. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.